Hey, I'm NichBoy and welcome to Pocket for Monday, the 11th of January. Today on the show, how the Smitey have fallen, how the Valve is leaking, and Jenga. How the Jenga has Jenga'd. But before we spend 10 minutes talking about Jenga, here's what's making headlines. The grand final of the Smite World Championship took place this morning with Europe's team Epsilon taking the crown. Epsilon beat North American side Enemy in a 3-0 whitewash in the best of 5 series. And sticking with esports, Australian organisation 24/7 Esports has cut ties with a Counter-Strike Go team they only just recruited because of match-fixing allegations. The team, formerly known as Skyred, entered contract negotiations with 24/7 Esports just a couple of weeks ago. But since then, some members of the team have been accused of match-fixing, which led to 24/7 Esports owner Wei Ning Young terminating any support towards the team. Young don't want none of that business. Next up, and those of you with a keen eye and a Steam account would have noticed that Punch Club is now available for purchase as Twitch managed to conquer the adventure early on Saturday morning. Over 70,000 people participated and it only took 36 hours to complete. Too easy. And finally, the Donkey Kong world record has been broken yet again, this time by former world champion Wes Copeland. Copeland set a new world record back in September, but it was a record which stood for a mere 6 hours as rival player Robbie Lakeman bested the score that same day. Well, Wes has convincingly reclaimed the crown with a score 18,000 points clear of Lakeman's former record. Someone buy these guys a new game. Now, I'm joined by Spawn Point director Lin Ji Kong to talk through our last news story. Half-Life writer Mark Laidlaw has retired after an 18-year stint at Valve. Linji, is Half-Life 3 cancelled?
Was it ever there?
I actually don't think so.
Was it ever like slated for release?
Someone's got to say something about that game. Game needs to come out and just go, it's over. Give it up. We've got no new ideas.
Yeah, I feel like Valve needs to actually come out and say to the fans, look, it's never going to happen. Because at the moment, the fans are just reading into it, right?
Yeah, so
they're reading into everything.
For example, that Mark actually says that he left because he said he was old or oldish. And 18 years is a huge amount of time to be working at a company. There's no way we're going to be here after 18 years. And so him leaving though, everyone's sort of going, oh, does this mean Half-Life 3 is cancelled or not? I don't think Half-Life is reliant on one person, and I don't think that person is Mark.
No, but how long ago was Half-Life 2? Like 12 years ago?
Ages.
So what has he been doing in the last 12 years? Like, do we know?
No one knows what anyone at Valve does. Left 4 Dead and Portal have happened, and other than that, they've put up a shopfront and Dota, and that's really it. There's no word of any games coming out of it.
And they're just making so much money off Steam, they don't really care at the moment, right?
Yeah, I think so. So I think he's probably just gone, it's time to give it up, move on to someone else. In fact, people have come out and said, what is happening with Half-Life? And he said, since I no longer speak for Valve, it would be inappropriate for me to answer questions or speculate openly on the fate of the franchise.
I feel like, he's just been dabbling for 12 years, right?
Yeah,
he's probably just been eating
doodling.
all the food in the cafeteria.
They probably have one of those great cafeterias which we don't have here, which is like you just go to the kitchen and like there's fruits and pastries and like, full Mexican taco things.
Yeah. Before NichBoy started on Good Game,
NichBoy Big Me?
NichBoy
yeah,
Big
right. You meant to talk there, not look me in the eye when you said before Nick.
NichBoy, before he started working on the ABC,
Did you have cake?
We actually had a biscuit budget.
Did I take the biscuit budget?
You did, yeah.
That's how much I get paid.
So we don't get biscuits anymore because we have NichBoy. Sometimes I wish we still had biscuits.
All right, well that seems like a good place to end the news. Moving on now, it's Thing of the Day. Thing of the Day. It's Thing of the Day. In Just Cause 3, YouTuber Team Cream, gross, has done away with Michael Bay-inspired destruction in favor of a classic, more subdued pastime, Jenga. Using Rico's grappling hook, a helicopter, and a whole bunch of shipping crates, Team Cream crafted a monolithic Jenga structure and then proceeded to play Jenga alone until the inevitable happened. Thing of the Day. It's Thing of the Day. And now it's talk through time, where you suggest a topic and we talk through it. Today's talk through comes from Noel Barrett, who wants us to talk through Game Pirates, saying that in 2 years' time, piracy will be a thing that's dead. The de novo DRM has protected Just Cause 3, Dragon Age Inquisition, and FIFA 16, and caused one group of pirates to predict, according to current trends in the development of encryption technology, in 2 years' time, I'm afraid there will be no more free games to play in the world. Lin G, is Half-Life 3 cancelled? And also, what do you think about this DRM?
DRM and piracy. I mean, I think anytime that you're going to have service issue with content, like I believe piracy is really a reaction to a service issue, right?
So, as in like a distribution issue?
Yeah, like distribution and also protections. And so whenever you're going to have an economic, I guess, barrier or geopolitical barrier to anything, you're going to get piracy.
Yeah.
Like, so if people aren't going to be able to afford certain types of content, or, you know, if that content isn't going to be released in their country, how the hell are they going to get hold of that content?
So this is my thinking here as well. What you're basically saying is, like, if it exists, they're going to try and pirate it. Like,
absolutely. I feel like crackers, you know, for them, it's a passion to crack the code.
Yeah.
So anytime a company comes out with a new technological measure of DRM or certain, you know, type of protection, you're going to get a team of elite crackers in their basement or maybe in their very nice houses.
Yeah, their penthouse apartments.
In their penthouse apartments, trying to crack the code, because for them it's a passion. You know, it's like climbing Mount Everest or something. It's like the hardest code they want to break.
Emotionally, they have to do it.
They have to, because it's what they were born to do.
And
right?
I feel like in this scenario, so the de novo DRM stuff is not actually protecting the game, it's anti-tamper. So it's protecting the DRM. So there's already DRM there, and then this stuff is stopping you from cracking the DRM there. This sort of thing has happened all the time, where it's like, you know, someone develops a new piece of DRM and then someone cracks it, and then someone develops it and someone cracks it. I feel like you try hard enough. I don't think anything's particularly uncrackable. The question is whether or not it can be cracked fast enough. Because I do think that if you can protect a game for a certain window, for its launch window, that's where you're probably going to lose the most amount of sales due to piracy.
Absolutely. I think, you know, as we discussed, it's more of an economical measure, right?
Yeah.
It's so these companies can actually make their money from their game in that, you know, 3 to 4 month window.
Yeah.
So if they can protect the game in that window, then that's fine. It's not like a movie or a TV show where the DVD still costs, you know, $15 10 years from now.
Yeah.
But a game, you know, in 2 years' time will be worth $5.
Yeah, Steam sales is gonna be like $2 then, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And also, like, not to get into the morality of it or anything, because like I have no judgment whatsoever on whether or not people should or shouldn't do that. But I do think that it's kind of like the company made a game, they've put out a game for sale. The morality of whether or not they have the right to do this, they do. They have the right to protect their content. And I feel like there's been a weird reaction online where, I mean, even this, I feel like this statement of free games may be a thing of the past is almost tongue-in-cheek, because it's like, what are you saying? Like, it's the heady days of when we used to be able to steal, you know, oh, I'm so sorry that they're gone. Like, that seems like a weird thing to say. Like, you know you're stealing. I'm not going to judge whether or not you do that, but like that is actually what you're doing.
But you know, some people get really weird about this because there's such like a bro code about piracy, right?
Yeah.
Like it's almost like a Western where, you know, you're stealing stuff or you're infringing copyright, but people still have an honor code.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
yeah.
It's like, you know, you have to seed your content. You
Yeah.
know, if you torrent it,
Totally.
It's like, what?
You're not allowed to steal
It's not your
this
content.
unless you let other people steal it as well.
Yeah.
No stealing for just one person.
But it's really weird in a way that I think a lot of companies who make the content go, oh, we're losing so much money from people who pirate this content.
Yeah.
But, you know, so many studies have shown that those people wouldn't have paid for the content anyway.
You're not necessarily losing a sale, just someone else is able to play the game.
And so the team of crackers, 3DM, they're from China.
Yeah.
And China has a very restricted marketplace for games, movies, and TV shows and all types of, you know, Western content.
Yeah.
Because it's China. And so if you're going to look at locations where people don't have access to content and then they're pirating, then are the companies necessarily losing money?
Yeah, right.
You know, like when they come out and say, oh, we're losing billions of dollars a year in terms of piracy, are they really losing that much if they're not actually releasing the content into those countries?
It's such a muddy, weird debate. The last thing I will say about this is that I do think that they may be right that piracy is a thing of the past if things like PlayStation Now or streaming services catch up streaming services of games, like Spotify or Netflix for movies and music, where the technology isn't quite there right now. We've still got lag and artifacting and all that sort of thing. But if we catch up to that sort of like a la carte subscription service, that's when piracy is going to go away, which I think goes to what you were saying at the beginning about like it's a service and price thing. And if you can manage those two things, then piracy kind of goes away by itself.
Yeah. I think if you've looked at the stats long term, say in the last 10 to 15 years,
Which I have.
which we both have, piracy has definitely gone down, and
Yep.
in particular with games, because I think games overall has done better than television and movies in terms of servicing the audience.
Yes.
You know, with Steam, with, you know, online content, with
It's easier to get games than ever
yeah,
before.
affordable and accessible content.
Yeah.
And I think the more that happens, the less piracy will be a factor. Because when people have, you know, affordable access to content, which is easier to obtain than pirating something,
Yeah.
then that's what they're going to go for.
Yeah, because no one wants to patch those pirated games. All right, if you have an opinion about this, sound off in the comments below. And while you're there, let us know what we should discuss tomorrow. And that's it for today's episode, my Pocketeers! But while you're on the internet, make sure to check out all things Good Game and check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and iView. Want to meet fellow Pocketeers? Then join the Pocketeers Facebook group and Steam group. You can follow Good Game on Twitter at Good Game TV, follow Pocket at NichBoy, at Pierreth, and at GG and at Monkey. She's LJology. There are links to everything I just said in the comments below. Today's Thing of the Day graphic was made by Jesse RX Speedster Young. Have you made a thing? Then send it in. Until tomorrow, NichBoy out.
And G out.